second spot, depending what happens in the last 40 minutes at the Aberdeen Stadium in Belfast. As for the host tonight, well, certainly a win will do it for them. They could even lose here and still find themselves in the top 8, but that does depend on Glasgow getting an emphatic win in Belfast against Ulster. So certainly as things stand, it is Ulster who find themselves without a seat to sit on when the music stops, if you know what I mean. Johan Mulder just pumps it high.
Contest. Ball is out.
Well, the ball being lost there by Suleiman Hartzenberg. Here's Ahmad Khan. Another determined carry from Evan Russ. Here is Khan. Coming down just outside the 22, can win it, really owning it. A young man who was first choice for Wales a couple of seasons ago. He's still a youngster, he's only 23. Win it not included in that extended squad by Steve Tandy for the internationals in July. Well, turned over. Dan Thomas once more. Here's Cam win it. Has done really well to get himself out of a tight spot. I know Dan Thomas is, shall we say, in the autumn of his career, but there are many people scratching their heads and wondering why he doesn't get a place in an extended Wales squad, because he has been brilliant every time he's played for Cardiff this season. Bowen just clipping the ball up. Here's Winnett. The bounce just not working the way there of Cam Winnett. Here's Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu.
Tackle! Release!
The Stormers at the moment having to keep possession and see that clock run down on the yellow card.
And use it!
Andre Smith will be coming back at the end of it.
Hold on.
Bowen calling the mark. Slightly nervy moment there for the youngster.
That kick gone too far, not enough height. Just an easy turnover of possession. But a fortune there for Khan that Cam Winnett doesn't find a lot of yards in his touch finder. So it still remains Stormers' ball.
Two coaches, both South Africans. Cornel van Zyl, a man from the Free State.
Cardiff, open up!
And John Dobson. The Dobson family, very famous in South African rugby circles. John's father, Paul, great rugby historian.
Inside 5, more. Say more.
JJ Kotzer has got the ball tucked underneath his arm there. This is an outstandingly coordinated maul. It's now with Nkunu.
Okay, now use it.
Into Carr. There's Roach. Roach doing well there, just hooking the ball round to Somalani. Roach plays scrum half on there to Evan Russ, but the ball has gone forward. But the referee was playing a penalty advantage.
Hindmost foot, pillar offside. Never got back 7. Yeah, that's the call.
Yeah. Offside call there.
Set up onside, please.
Dan Thomas not getting onside.
Shot called. Just pillar, never onside. Dan pillar, never onside. Yeah.
And the choice here, once again, to go for the post. They're straight in front of the uprights. See there, Dan Thomas putting pressure on the 9, but in an offside position.
It was more on the scrum, mate. Yeah. Fair point, though.
Good work there from Johnny Roach. Roach having his first start for the Stormers since the defeat at the Lions in February, and making just his 9th appearance in the URC. Johnny Roach, an interesting fella. As of now, he's not the best known Cape Town Roach in rugby circles. His father, Stephen, is an orthopaedic surgeon and the favoured fixer of damaged shoulders in Cape Town. I understand that Jean de Villiers, magnificent rugby player, but a player who had some horrible injury problems during his career. The latest man to have his shoulder fixed, or at least vastly improved.
That and one of his 5 knee operations.
But the issue for me is like you're making, it's marginal, but you're making early contact as well, okay?
So on comes Kieran Asarati. Alterations being made in the front row, both props. Reece Barrett and Kieran Asarati, both in the Wales squad for the summer. Clearance there from Damien Willemse, super kick.
Oh, super kick is an understatement. That is a fantastic kick by Damien Willemse under pressure. Taking play beyond the halfway line from that exit.
He really is a cracking player, isn't he? Because always seems to be available. Very versatile, started at 12 and at 15 for the Springboks. Can do a turn-up fly-half as well.
And on the wing.
And on the wing, indeed. There goes Rory Thornton. Mulder. On to Thomas.
Committed.
Here's Tane Basham. Thomas. Johan Lloyd. Just turns Leolin Zas. Across comes Willemse. Oh, that was good from Leolin Zas. And, well, there wasn't too much that time that Willemse could do with it.
Well, that man, Lloyd, has had a fantastic game. He's been so dangerous on the running attack. And this time, a little probing kick forward.
And that look from Damien Willemse rather said, what did you do that for? Yes, in your career, you probably had a few conversations like that with wings, didn't you?
And indeed, indeed. Rather take it out, put a bit more pressure. He handled it well, though, got the ball out. And that will be the turn if that man can get onto the field. Lee Halfpenny.
No foul play there.
Yes, a man who made his Wales debut 18 years ago, round the back against the Springboks. Could well be saying goodbye to the game tonight, and doing so against a team laden with Springboks. It will be particularly appropriate, certainly for him and anybody watching with a passion for Cardiff rugby, that Cardiff emerge victors here.
Hit your own player on the hip.
Ben Jason Dixon just getting his head fixed.
Good gap. 5.
So Liam Belcher to Thornton. Predictable but effective. Mulder. Important that tackle was made. Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu doing it. Some fierce hits coming in from this Stormers defence. Oh, and the pass just a little bit too long, but the referee said he was playing an advantage.
Green 10 never on.
And it's Feinberg and Gomazulu who was offside.
Never on sides. 10.
Discipline costing the Stormers. There was a big hit in there, though.
Sorry, Dan.
Cardiff running with a lot of pace onto the ball. And Ben Jason Dixon just had his head patched up and now being pulled off for an HIA. Marcel Tienesen will take in the field.
Time back on.
Whilst he's being assessed.
Need a ball, guys. Time back off.
But this Cardiff attack, so patient, looking so dangerous when they keep the ball in hand.
Belcher. There's Dan Thomas with the pickup. Change of direction from Basham. Johan Lloyd beaten. His second try of the night. How important is that? A fourth try for Cardiff. They want more than 1 point this evening, but 1 point only could prove very handy indeed in that race for 8.
And that's all from the set-piece penalty kick. Belcher taking it in. Set it about one phase the one way and then turning around. Backs flowing onto the blind side through the hands. Beetham once again flying over in the corner. Wonderful set play from the penalty kick. Liam Belcher again involved from the start.
And Johan Lloyd, well, not his best connection, but he's having a fantastic night. It's sheer guts determination. The prize looming on the horizon. They've been second best in so many departments, but every opportunity virtually they've taken.
Yeah, an immense pressure, especially at scrum time, some set piece, but in that face play attack, they've been on fire, and this time it's the Stormers under pressure. Feinberg and Ngomezulu from the restart, not finding the 10-meter. And like the start of the first half, the opportunity here for the Cardiff and the Cardiff faithful getting louder, growing more confident as the pressure piles up on the Stormers.
Okay, left to the cross, please. Lee, just left to the cross. And we can stay there, yeah? Okay, time off. Yeah. Yeah, bring it on. Who? Six. Yeah. Okay, time back on. Thank you. Okay, when you're ready.
Jockey Sherritt enjoying the game from the warmth of the hospitality.
Crouch!
Yes, and his contribution to this club will, of course, be remembered particularly very fondly if things go right tonight, having moved on at the start of the season to the Wales coaching job. Did it on a temporary basis, but he's now part of Steve Tandy's team. There's Thomas. That was Rory Thornton taking it into the contact. That lead now in excess of a converted try. That was Rhys Barrett. That's Kieran Asarati. Inside the last half hour, Thomas with a pass there. Referee says it was flat.
Yeah, 9. Let's go 9.
Dan Thomas clapping his hands. He wants it. Goes immediately to ground.
Yeah, use it.
Comfortably enough that for Damien Willemse. On to Leoland Zuss. The kicks in field. There's Cameron Winnett. On to Johan Lloyd, just having to bend his back. He's growing in confidence, is Lloyd. And look what he's doing with that confidence. Real momentum created. Look at this. And the space for Beetham, who just for a moment could see the try line and thought perhaps there was a hat trick. It was Roach who took him down, but the danger not gone for the Stormers. There's Thomas. Johan Lloyd just stabs it through. It's a tester. Well, Damien Willemse is penalised.
Sasa Feinberg and Ngomezulu there penalised. Willemse was on the floor. Question marks whether the chaser there went down on him, but Sasha Feinberg and Ngomezulu then coming in from the side, going off his feet,
Both coming down now.
trying to clear the ball. Johan Lloyd again,
Okay, let's go.
pulling the strings. Heads up rugby, sees the opening, the
Okay, let's go.
option
10
for him
meters,
opening up, and then good determined run there.
Yeah. You're on the line, so step off. Cardiff, step off. Tell him Stormers are on the line now.
Well, the crowd have found their voice. Rory Thornton, the line out predictably not contested. There's Mulder, on to Ben Thomas.
All backwards. It's all back.
Similani trying to fly hack the ball forward, but it's still there. Tane Basham at pace. Here's Rory Thornton just skipping through the attempted tackle, but the penalty this time goes the way of the men from the Western Cape.
Same as over there, 17 straight in the side.
Yeah, this time Rhys Barrett coming in off the side, off his feet, trying to protect the ball, keep that continuity going.
Trust me, I've got it, guys, okay? Thank you. Good, Sash.
You can see him entering in from the side after that initial carry. A good clearance there by SFM. Take a bit of pressure off the Stormers defensively. And Captain Nettling for Sheer and the Ruben van Heeren being substituted.
Well, Sazi Sandi's coming on. If he hadn't been with us from the start, Sazi Sandi coming in as a replacement for Zach Porthen, who has a bit of a hamstring niggle, which wasn't going to be unduly tested. Essentially, there are always concerns, I think, amongst the African teams about the synthetic surfaces.
More.
The catch there from Turnison.
One stop, sideways.
There goes Roach. Just being held up by Jennings. He makes a few metres. On there from Feinberg and Gomazulu to Willemse. Here's Zas. Zas at pace. Fantastic speed from the wing. Bouncing off the tackler. There's Khan. The defence is at 6s and 7s at the moment.
Ball there.
There's Salman Murat on his return from injury.
Still in. Out. It's out.
Nkunu. He can fly a bit. On to Kotza. The sheer power here of the Stormers beginning to tell. Khan getting caught. That was a crucial tackle again from Thomas. Murat just 2 metres out now. Nkunu over the ball. And no arms clear out. And that's so costly for the Stormers.
Dan Thomas once again straight over that ball. Andre Smith coming off his feet, tucking his arm, trying to clear the ball or clear the player off.
Only at the moment, just let me know if there is head contact.
And terribly disappointing again for the Stormers. Wonderful break there by Leo Zas to get through. Khan being caught a bit too slow to clear the ball.
Let's go, guys.
But all credit to Cardiff scramble defence. Getting back, keeping that integrity of the line once the line break was made.
Quickly, mate, quick. Okay, permanent.
Yeah, and Andre Smith there deemed to shoulder charge in his clear.
Just tuck your arm, mate. Not you, Salman. Andre. Yeah. Just tuck the arm straight down on the player. Got a grasp.
He's got to be careful as Andre Smith. He's already spent 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Okay, good, John. Come on.
So a chance to take a few deep breaths and gain a few metres for Cardiff. And run down more valuable seconds on the clock.
3.
A 5-point win here will take Cardiff up to 55 points. And if only in the short term, that would actually take them into the top 4. The crowd rises to its feet as Liam Belcher is replaced. Belcher, captain courageous.
Yeah.
Jacob, go get it!
Use it!
Jan Mulder.
Go get it, Jacob! Get off!
Zas against Beetham. Zas it is who comes away with it. And the ball lost forward.
All that hard work undone by Leolin Zas. Good take in the air. But then spills the ball once it goes into contact. And the players clearing over, dislodges the ball.
There's no blood. Let's go.
Gethin Jenkins there on the left, a man who coaches with the same intensity as he once played.
Just left, guys, thank you.
I can tell you why I know that, because the commentary point often here for us at the Arms Park is immediately beneath the coaching box.
Seconds.
And the stamping of the floor and the battering of the table, it makes the commentary box shake every 5 or 10 minutes, and we know who the culprit is. They're put in there from Mulder. Another scrum penalty for the Stormers.
What a defensive scrum effort there by the Stormers.
Hinging under pressure, 17.
Barrett hinging under pressure
17.
from Sazi Sandi. And this is the one area where the Stormers have dominated, and they've kept them in the game and given them opportunities.
Clear go forward, that's 17 just hinged on
Unfortunately, too many times, then through unforced errors, given the ball away.
6. 2, 4, 6. You're on the line. Cardiff, Stormers on the line and holds, thank you.
So JJ Kotzer.
Ball. No, through the seam. Don't change now. Ball away, it's broke away.
There it is from Khan, on to Roach. Yohan Lloyd holding on to him. Khan pops it up to Nkunu. You don't want to get run over by Nkunu, believe me, it's like getting struck by a truck. Here's Khan, on to Trinason. Similani, Feinberg and Gomazulu cut down. It was a South African on a South African, Jan Mulder, he'll have enjoyed that. Oh, and then is it lost? No, it's gathered at about the second or third attempt. There's Murat. The defensive line at the moment effective. Here's Evan Russ getting play inside that Cardiff 22. Khan. Another good carry forward, that time from Kakamaraba. There goes Andre Smith. Here's Sazi Sandi. George Knott trying to rip the ball out of his possession. Cardiff have to release the tackle player. Salman Murat. That goes Trinason.
Release.
asking too many questions at the moment of the Cardiff defence. There goes Andre Smith, making a couple of metres with a bit of help from his mates.
Your own player.
JJ Kotzer.
Move, Cardiff.
A tackle from both them.
Yeah, ball's there.
Khan once more. Dan Thomas over the ball again as he got it.
Now release Stormers. Turnover good.
It's been turned over by Dan Thomas.
First man on his feet.
Well, if Cardiff win this, I would suggest that Dan Thomas is perhaps the most likely candidate for the player of the match. He has been a crucial figure tonight for Cardiff.
And use it.
There's Jan Mulder. Willemse, good chase. Somebody's lost a boot. I think it's Willemse, actually. On goes Tiernason.
Tackle!
Damien Willemse still running around with only one boot on his foot.
Got to his feet, never held. Release!
Oh, I say, Khan just lobbing the ball there to George Knott. He thought there was a teammate on his shoulder and there wasn't. Damien Willemse, by the way, has got his boot back on again as he's retreated into the backfield. Well, both Willemse and Beetham allowing that ball to drop, but it is the Stormers. 17 minutes to go. 9 points the Cardiff lead.
Stay there now.
Cardiff, as things stand, on their way to the top 8. They could even be tonight in the top 4. In all honesty, it's very unlikely to finish that way by the end of tomorrow evening. But a place in the top 8 for Cardiff would be an outstanding achievement. Their record here at the Arms Park this season is almost without blemish. 9 wins from 10 in both competitions. Their only defeat here in one of the derby matches just the week before Christmas when they were beaten by the Scarlets.
Now use it.
Dan Thomas on the floor once more. Who has it? It'll be a scrum and a Stormers ball.
Yeah, neither player on the floor wanting to release that. But this defensive effort by Cardiff has been fantastic tonight. Dan Thomas has been exceptional. The ability by Cardiff to slow down Stormers' ball every time. The hold-up tackles, slowing it down.
You've got to be on your feet to the box kick, okay?
Can't get any momentum, any flow going.
Yeah. You've got to be on your feet.
He's been exceptional over the ball, slowing that ball down. And a big call here. Stefan Ungara replacing Imad Khan. 32-year-old, a lot more experienced in closing out games, chasing games.
Well, many of these fans will have their phones. They'll be looking at the scores elsewhere. Connacht appeared to be well on their way to earning the full 5 at Edinburgh. Ulster closing in now on Glasgow. It's a very tight match at the Upper Stadium.
Okay, let's go, fellas.
It really does raise the stakes for the last 15 here.
Flatten through, guys. Flatten through.
As
Strong
things
left side,
stand,
strong left side.
it is Ulster who look like missing out on the top 8.
Bind! Set!
Stefan Ungara there, the replacement scrum half. Arm is out from the referee, so another penalty coming for the Stormers if they need it. Willemse in the line. There's Ungara. On here to Evan Ruiz. Carried forward by Turnison.
You've got advantage, 9. Yes.
Evan Ruiz. Salman Murat. Ongara once more. Feinberg and Gomazulu. Little inside pass. That was clever, but it was well read by the defence.
Yeah. No advantage. Just going over to side to side.
You do get a sense, Tinas, that this could go all the way to the final play.
Clear, go forward,
what a game this has been, Martin. Total dominance in that first 7 minutes by the Stormers, and Cardiff has worked their way up, worked their way back. It's got the bonus point with the 4 tries, leading
12.
into this last 15 minutes of this match. Crucial for the Stormers. They capitalise on this opportunity. They'll be ruining all those missed opportunities that they have created.
Well, what a moment this is for the young Wales under-20 international, Stefan Manuel. There he is.
Just wait.
Coming on for Rory Jennings.
Okay, fellas. Evans just said 6. What's the numbers? We've got 7 in. Come on. Let's go. 7.
Well, George not getting up, and now they've got the penalty. And that is what it means to Jim Botham.
19 playing man.
The line out still from George Knott.
Yeah, Salman Murat beaten in the air by his marker, and then out of desperation plays the man in the air, gives away the penalty. And that opportunity lost for the Stormers, and you can hear what it means for the crowd.
Just wait. We've got subs. Time off.
The noise levels really raise us up with that turnover penalty.
Time on. Cardiff numbers 4.
Also the change there, Yuri Matir is on, replacing Johnny Roach.
2.
The catch from Botham. Tame Basham, utterly determined. Yet again, the very soft, sympathetic hands from Ben Thomas. There's Yohan Lloyd, Beetham leaving the ball behind. And in the end, it goes into touch, I think, off the hand of James Botham. We'll see what the assistant here, Ben Connor, has to say.
Just got line up. We have a line up. Just check quick reset all. We're just waiting.
Right, let's see which hand this comes off. Not sure we're showing it here.
Yeah, clock's off.
Yeah, here we
Okay,
go.
Cardiff
Now,
ball.
is it the hand of Jim Botham?
Cardiff ball.
Well,
Let's go.
the referee says it's a Cardiff throw.
4. 2 and 2.
Thomas, Basham wants some more. Coming through in the midfield. Here's Botham onto Cam Winnett. Long pass, but that time that pass was forward to Duff Hughes.
Poor pass.
Again, they run onto the ball with so much pace.
Yeah.
That drifts marginally forwards.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Looking so energised, positive on the attack, Cardiff.
Guys.
Basham
Let's go, please.
is one of numerous players that really lifted their hand, raised their hand today for a player of the match performance. Basham, Belcher, Lloyd, Dan Thomas, they've all been outstanding. Johan Mulder at 9. Really putting pace onto the ball with his clearances from the ruck and also some
Squared.
great contestable kicks off the base.
The arm is out again from the referee. It's been a repeated theme. And here's Hartzenberg. Referee playing that advantage. Yuri Mattia there on the scene. On to Adre Smith. Feinberg on Gomazulu. Almost couldn't find a teammate behind him.
Move.
Mattia. Oh, is that forward? Did rather look that way.
Same as over there. Is it forward passing for touch? So option, yeah? Option.
Well, I know what option I will go for. If I was Cardiff, it's definitely not the scrum.
I'm going to speak to you.
They have been good at line-out time. Once again, the Stormers
Okay, so we're just going
losing their shape on the attack. Had all the forward momentum on the right-hand side with Suleiman Hartzenberg. And then the ball going to floor, and Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu had to rescue that attack.
Sub 2.
And it's all the pressure that's been put on them by the Cardiff defence.
4 and 8. Okay, let's go.
It was a slow start to his time at Cardiff for Tame Basham. But he's done wonderfully well tonight, as has that man. Well, there are plenty of world champions on the other side of the pitch this evening, but George Nott himself, a world champion with England at under-20 level a decade ago. Two men have had a fantastic night. They've been replaced by Alan Lawrence and Evan Lloyd.
Okay, that's 2 penalties. Okay, I know you're trying to be positive, stay in the contest. There's too many now. The next one you need another option. Okay? I will, okay? But again, go forward and they're standing up under pressure. Okay? That's 2 penalties and the loose penalty as well. Okay? Scrum down, Stormers, Cardiff. No, because it hit somebody and then went out. So we're going scrum. Forward pass. Scrum, yeah. Because it touched somebody, then went out, so you don't have the option. Yeah.
9.5 minutes
Let's go,
between
fellas.
Cardiff and a place in the last 8.
It was, mate, but you went down the outside.
And they are under a warning there. Mr. Brace having a word with Kieran Asenati.
Then you came back, Salman.
Aserati saying 2 previous scrums, you stepped up under pressure.
Okay, let's go.
You got to keep it in. They have the attacking scrum though. Ball has to come out very quickly through channel 1 with that pressure that's coming.
Bind.
37-year-old Lee Halfpenny just warming himself up on the bike.
Let's go, Cardiff. Control your weight, do not stand out the scrum, okay? Let me deal with it. Control your weight, don't stand up. Let's go, quickly. Not going to run the clock down, guys, let's go. Crouch! Bind!
Well, it could prove to be party night afterwards in Cardiff if they can navigate their way through these last 8 minutes. There goes Evan Lloyd. On to Mulder. Tom Bowen coming off the wing. His finish tonight, so special.
Use it. Okay, use it!
Well, not really enough depth on that. And that went forward, and it's Evan Russ who seals possession for the Stormers. But bear in mind, they have to score twice.
No. Manage over.
There's Salman Murat, who was almost surprised to get that. Ongara.
Move! Okay, hold in front.
Mattia. He hoists it. That's a bit of a slice, in all honesty. And it's come back there to Cam win it. Great tackle around the bootlaces from Feinberg and Ngomazulu. Rory Thornton happy to go to ground.
No, you can't elongate the rock.
There's Ongara. Yet another tackle there from Dan Thomas. Well, Tinas, you have to say, the Stormers not firing any shots, are they?
They're being shut down by this Cardiff defence. Not giving them any opportunity.
Now, use it.
They're also good in the air, so not allowing those dangerous runners any space from the contestable kicks. Another one going up in the air.
Touch nobody, and that's back.
There goes Evan Russ, the league's top try scorer. What he'd give for a try now in the next 3 or 4 minutes. Yuri Matia getting up to halfway.
Yeah.
That was Sazi Sandi, on to Salman Murat. Ongara. There goes Tiernison. This is better from the Stormers. Ongara. Willemsen. Similani just testing that defensive line, but both of them equal to it. Sazi Sandi on to Willemsen. Poor pass, well picked up. That was rather special from Feinberg and Ngomazulu. Somehow the Stormers retain possession. 5 minutes to go. Ongara. Matia on to Similani. Jinking getting through one tackle, but not the second. Time running out here. Here's Kebbell.
Lost it.
Dan Thomas almost got there again. Rory Thornton taking what seems like an age to get back to his feet. It has been a lung-busting 75.5 minutes.
Yeah, good work.
Well, if you were watching the opening 7 minutes of this match, you'd have got a sense that the Stormers were going to steamroll at Cardiff. How different it's been since that opening 7 minutes.
And that is that defence Cardiff has put throughout this match. This time it is a high tackle, but it's been pressure on the defence. They've been accurate on their tackles, and then the man over the ball, normally Dan Thomas, slows the ball down and takes the sting out of the Stormers' attack, and they start losing shape. This time too high by Evan Lloyd on Damien Willemsen. And pressure here on the Stormers. Coach has not been so accurate at line-out time. A couple of line-out losses under pressure.
6.
Well, at the moment, the Stormers not even with that losing bonus point that would take them out of reach of the Bulls. The Bulls are in action at Loftus in Pretoria tomorrow against Benetton.
Start using.
We know that the Stormers have their home quarter-final, but they have to win here. And put in will be Cardiff's. And surely, unless the Stormers can dominate this next scrum, that could well be it.
James Botham getting himself in there. Their line-out maul defence has been outstanding.
Let's go, mate. Let's go.
Got the ability to work through those seams, get their hands on the ball. It's been a real area of concern for the Stormers. And there he comes, getting ready for a last couple of minutes. Lee Halfpenny, legend of Welsh rugby and world rugby.
Well, it will be just his third appearance since rejoining from Harlequins. He's only had 75 minutes of rugby this season, but the great man replaces Cam Winnett. Winnett replaced by his hero. A man who's been an international rugby player for almost 2 decades. 18 years ago, that man made his debut for Wales round the back here at the Principality against South Africa. And what a moment it is for the family. At the age of 37.
Time off. Yeah, just time off. No, because that's the same message as I just given them, all right? So don't stand up and control your weight. Let's go. Time is off. They're not gonna run the clock down. It's the same as over there, guys. So shake your head if you want. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Let's go quickly. Come on.
Well, I guess for these last 2 minutes they could do with an old and a cool head.
Come on, guys. Let's get this completed.
And they don't get any more experience than that man.
Bind. Sit. Square.
The Stormers need the scrum of the season, but quickly. And coming away with it there was Evan Lloyd. Here's Ellis Bevan. Ellis Bevan back in the Wales squad after what has been a disappointing season for the man who not that long ago was the Wales #1 at scrum half. Just over a minute to go.
Good gap then, guys. Respect the gap. Respect the gap.
It'll be all defensive effort here by Cardiff. Did so well to get that ball out. Player of the match, Tane Basham. Well deserved. Some serious contenders though in Belcher and others. But last minute defensive effort needed here by Cardiff.
Well, it is a penalty to the Stormers.
Early contact in the air.
Well, the chance of victory has now gone for the Stormers. They can pick up a losing bonus point.
Fellas, yeah. Good try. Don't pull him down. Don't pull him down. Discipline. 6.
Cornel van Zyl. It has been a stunning night for him as well.
Don't change, Cardiff! Sideways once! Ben? Play on. Still moving. Advantage playing the 9.
There goes Ungra. It's a penalty advantage here to the Stormers. Feinberg and Gomazulu, it's 10 on 10.
Yes.
They get 2 shots at it to the Stormers. They're playing the penalty advantage. Mattia throws it wide. Well, a big tackle coming in from the youngster, Steph Emanuel. But the referee was
16.
playing the advantage. And now Cardiff will go down to 14. Daff Hughes has been sent to the bin.
You're playing the 9 in the maul. 16 here, not rolling.
Yeah, cynical play. Playing the 9 and then not rolling. As repeated infringements under pressure. And this is for the bonus point. Interesting call. but it is to go within 7 for the Stormers.
Well, let's be honest, there was nothing else to be gained, was there, by scoring 5 or 7? So Sasha, Feinberg and Gomezulu, the most straightforward of tasks from straight in front. The referee blows his whistle for the end of the match. Lee Halfpenny almost certainly bids farewell to the professional game. But what a night for Cardiff. They've made it into the last 8.
Wonderful effort by Cardiff. They've certainly made this Cardiff Arms Park a fortress again, into the top 8 for the first time in the URC. What a performance by Cardiff after that very slow start. And they take the spoils with the bonus point.